Hey guys, welcome to another video on this channel. So today we are learning the highway code rules for pedestrians, and we are going through rule number 1 to rule number 35 in today's video. Now don't go away, because the rules for pedestrians, although they are called rules for pedestrians, I think that they very much apply to drivers as well. Because as soon as you get out of your car, even if you just cross the road to go to the shop or go somewhere else, or just just park and get out of the car or stuff like that, you are still a pedestrian. As soon as you step out of your car, you are a pedestrian. So I think that these rules apply in general. So are we ready to get started? Highway code rule number 1. Pavements and footways, including any path along the side of a road, should be used if provided. Where possible, avoid being next to the curb with your back to the traffic. If you have to step into the road, look both ways first. Always remain aware of your environment and avoid unnecessary distractions. Always show due care and consideration for others. So this is rule number 1. Highway code rule number 2. If there is no pavement, keep to the right hand side of the road so that you can see oncoming traffic. You should take extra care and be prepared to walk in a single file, especially on narrow roads or in poor light. And also keep close to the side of the road. It may be safer to cross the road well before a sharp right-hand bend so that oncoming traffic has a better chance of seeing you. Cross back after the bend. Highway code rule number 3. Help other road users to see you. Wear or carry something light-colored, bright or fluorescent in poor daylight conditions. When it's dark, use reflective materials such as armbands, sashes, waistcoats, jackets or footwear, which can be seen by drivers using headlights up to 3 times as far away as non-reflective materials. And I think that this goes as well for your pets. When you are outside walking your pet in the dark, in the evening, wear reflective clothing and make sure your dog also has some kind of reflective equipment, or perhaps a light or something like that. There are so many different options out there. Highway code rule number 4. Young children should not be out alone on the pavement or road. And we will get to rule number 7 for more info on this. When taking children out, keep between them and the traffic and hold their hands firmly. Strap very young children into push chairs or use reins. When pushing a young child in a buggy, do not push the buggy into the road when checking to see if it's clear to cross, particularly from between parked vehicles. Also, this is my 7 cent, if you will. Please make sure you don't use a mobile phone whilst you are pushing the buggy with the baby in it. I've seen so many parents, so many people who take their babies out for a walk, that with one hand they push the buggy and with the other hand they use their mobile phone. Please don't do that. That's extremely dangerous, because you don't have the same grip of the buggy with one hand as you would with both hands. And using a mobile phone at the same time, not only it's dangerous for drivers, it's also dangerous for people who are pushing buggies, because you don't have the same control, you don't have the same reflexes, and also you don't have the same focus. So yeah, this is just my 7 cent. Now let's move on to highway code rule number 5. Organized walks or parades involving large groups of people walking along a road should use a pavement if available. If one is not, they should keep to the left. Lookouts should be positioned at the front and back of the group, and they should wear fluorescent clothing in daylight and reflective clothing in the dark. At night, the lookout in front should show a white light and the one at the back a red light. People on the outside of large groups should also carry lights and wear reflective clothing. Next rule. Highway Code rule number 6. Motorways. Pedestrians must not be on motorways or slip roads except in an emergency. The laws that apply here, and you can check them out separately, are the Road Traffic Regulation Act 1987, Section 17, the Motorways Traffic England and Wales Regulations 1982, Regulations 15(1)b, and the Motorways Traffic Scotland Regulations 1995, Regulations 13. Highway Code rule number 7. The Green Cross Code. The advice given below on crossing the road is for all pedestrians. Children should be taught the code and should not be allowed out alone until they can understand and use the code properly. The age when they can do this is different for each child. Many children cannot judge how fast vehicles are going or how far away they are. Children learn by example, so parents and carers should always use the Green Cross Code in full when out with their children. They are responsible for deciding at what age children can use it safely by themselves. So this is the code. A. First, find a safe place to cross and where there is space to reach the pavement on the other side. Where there is a crossing nearby, use it. It's safer to cross using a subway, a footbridge, an island, a zebra, pelican, toucan or puffin crossing, or where there is a crossing point controlled by a police officer, a school crossing patrol or a traffic warden. Otherwise, choose a place where you can see clearly in all directions. Try to avoid crossing between parked cars, and we will have more info on this in rule number 14. On a blind bend or close to the brow of a hill. Move to a space where drivers and riders can see you clearly. Do not cross the road diagonally. Code B. Stop just before you get to the curb, where you can see if anything is coming. Do not get too close to the traffic. If there is no pavement, keep back from the edge of the road, but make sure you can still see approaching traffic. C. Look all around for traffic and listen. Traffic could come from any direction. Listen as well, because you can sometimes hear traffic before you see it. D. If traffic is coming, let the traffic pass. Look all around again and listen. Do not cross until there is a safe gap in the traffic and you are certain that there is plenty of time. Remember, even if traffic is a long way off, it may be approaching very quickly. E. When it is safe, go straight across the road. Do not run. Keep looking and listening for traffic while you cross in case there is any traffic you did not see or in case other traffic appears suddenly. Look out for cyclists and motorcyclists traveling between lanes of traffic. Do not walk diagonally across the road. Highway Code rule number 8. At a junction. When you are crossing or waiting to cross the road, other traffic should give way. Look out for traffic turning into the road, especially from behind you, and cross at a place where drivers can see you. If you have started crossing and traffic wants to turn into the road, you have priority and they should give way. Highway Code rule number 9. Pedestrian safety barriers. Where there are barriers, cross the road only at the gaps provided for pedestrians. Do not climb over the barriers or walk between them and the road. Rule number 10. Tactile paving. Raised surfaces that can be felt underfoot provide warning and guidance to blind or partially sighted people. The most common surfaces are a series of raised studs which are used at crossing points with a dropped curb, or a series of rounded raised bars which are used at level crossings, at the top and bottom of steps, and at some other hazards. Rule number 11. One-way streets. Check which way the traffic is moving. Do not cross until it's safe to do so without stopping. Bus and cycle lanes may operate in the opposite direction to the rest of the traffic. Highway Code Rule number 12. Bus and cycle lanes. Take care when crossing these lanes, as traffic may be moving faster than in the other lanes or against the flow of traffic. Highway Code Rule number 13. Routes shared with cyclists. Cycle tracks may run alongside footpaths or pavements and be separated from them by a feature such as a change of material, a verge, a curb, or a white line. Such routes may also incorporate short lengths of tactile paving to help visually impaired people to stay on the correct side. On the pedestrian side, this may comprise of a series of flat-topped bars running across the direction of travel, also known as ladder pattern. On the cyclist side, the same bars are orientated in the direction of travel, or also known as tramline pattern. Some routes shared with cyclists will not be separated by such a feature, allowing cyclists and pedestrians to share the same space. Cyclists should respect your safety, but you should also take care not to obstruct or endanger them. Always remain aware of your environment and avoid unnecessary distractions. Where signs indicate some routes are shared between pedestrians, cyclists, horse riders, and horse-drawn vehicles. Cyclists, horse riders, and drivers of horse-drawn vehicles should respect your safety, but you should take care not to obstruct or endanger them. Always remain aware of your environment and avoid unnecessary distractions. Rule number 14. Parked vehicles. If you have to cross between parked vehicles, use the outside edges of the vehicles as if they were the curb. Stop there and make sure you can see all around and that the traffic can also see you. Make sure there is a gap between any parked vehicles on the other side so you can reach the pavement. Never cross the road in front of or behind any vehicle with its engine running, especially a large vehicle, as the driver may not be able to see you. Highway Code Rule 15. Reversing vehicles. Never cross behind a vehicle which is reversing, showing white reversing lights or sounding a warning. Highway Code Rule number 16. Moving vehicles. You must not get onto or hold onto a moving vehicle. And the law which you can refer to is the Road Traffic Act 1988, Section 26. Highway Code Rule number 17. At night, wear something reflective to make it easier for others to see you. And we already covered this at rule number 3, where there was this picture with the mom and the child and how they were wearing reflective and fluorescent clothing, if you remember. If there is no pedestrian crossing nearby, cross the road near a street light so that traffic can see you more easily. Highway Code Rule number 18. At all crossings. When using any type of crossing, you should always check that the traffic stopped before you start to cross, or push a pram onto a crossing. Always cross between the studs or over the zebra markings. Do not cross at the side of the crossing or on the zigzag lines, as this can be dangerous. You must not loiter on any type of crossings. And the laws you can refer to here are the Zebra, Pelican and Puffin Pedestrian Crossings Regulations and General Directions 1997 Regulation 19. And also the Road Traffic Regulation Act 1984 Section 25(5). Highway Code Rule number 19. Zebra crossings. Give traffic plenty of time to see you and to stop before you start to cross. Vehicles will need more time when the road is slippery. Wait until traffic has stopped from both directions or the road is clear before crossing. Remember that traffic does not have to stop until someone moved onto the crossing. Drivers and riders should give way to pedestrians waiting to cross, and they must give way to pedestrians on a zebra crossing. Keep looking both ways and listening in case a driver or a rider didn't see you and they are trying to overtake a vehicle which stopped. And you can refer to the law, the Traffic Signs Regulations and General Directions 2016, Schedule 14, Part 5. Highway Code Rule 20. Where there is an island in the middle of a zebra crossing, wait on the island and follow rule number 19, which we just covered in the previous slide, before you cross the second half of the road. This is a separate crossing. Highway Code Rule 21. At traffic lights, there may be special signals for pedestrians. You should only start to cross the road when the green figure shows. If you have started to cross the road and the green figure goes out, you should still have time to reach the other side, but please do not delay. If no pedestrian signals are provided, watch carefully and don't cross until the traffic lights are red and the traffic stopped. Keep looking and check for traffic that might be turning the corner. Remember that traffic lights may let traffic move in some lanes while traffic in other lanes has stopped. Highway Code Rule number 22. Pelican crossings. These are signal-controlled crossings operated by pedestrians. Push the control button to activate the traffic signals. When the red figure shows, do not cross. When a steady green figure shows, check the traffic stopped, then cross with care. When the green figure begins to flash, you should not start to cross. If you have already started, you should have time to finish crossing safely. Highway Code Rule number 23. Puffin crossings. They differ from pelican crossings as the red and green figures are above the control box on your side of the road and there is no flashing green figure phase. Press the button and wait for the green figure to show. Now, a fun fact here, I have been wondering what's up with all of the names of these crossings, right? And I actually researched this. And the Puffin crossing, if you are not aware, actually stands for Pedestrian User-Friendly Intelligent Crossing. So this is something, you know, something extra that I thought it would be a fun fact to know. And now let's move on to the next rule. Highway Code Rule number 24. When the road is congested, traffic on your side of the road may be forced to stop. Even though their lights are green, traffic may still be moving on the other side of the road, so press the button and wait for the signal to cross. Highway Code Rule number 25. Token crossings are light-controlled crossings which allow cyclists and pedestrians to share crossing space and cross at the same time. They are push-button operated. Pedestrians and cyclists will see the green signal together. Cyclists are permitted to ride across. Highway Code Rule number 26. At some crossings, there is a bleeping sound or a voice signal to indicate to blind or partially sighted people when the steady green figure is showing, and there may be a tactile signal to help deaf-blind people. Highway Code Rule 27. Equestrian crossings are for horse riders. They have pavement barriers, wider crossing spaces, horse and rider figures in the light panels, and either two sets of controls, one higher or just one higher control panel. Now I'm going to be very honest, brutally honest with you. Before I did this video, before I put together all the information, I actually had no idea whatsoever that there is such thing as equestrian crossings. I had no idea. So I'm sure that a lot of people don't have any idea that there is a special crossing which is for horse riders. So this is the equestrian crossing. Okay, so the next rule. Rule 28. Staggered pelican or puffin crossings. When the crossings on each side of the central refuge are not in line, they are two separate crossings. On reaching the central island, press the button again and wait for a steady green figure. Highway Code Rule number 29. Crossings controlled by an authorized person. Do not cross the road unless you are signaled to do so by a police officer, a traffic warden, or school crossing patrol, or the lollipop lady. I think a lot of us know the school crossing patrol as the lollipop lady. Always cross in front of them. Highway Code Rule number 30. Where there are no controlled crossing points available, it's advisable to cross where there is an island in the middle of the road. Use the green cross code that I mentioned at the beginning to cross the island, and then stop and use it again to cross the second half of the road. Highway Code Rule number 31. Emergency vehicles. If an ambulance, fire engine, police, or other emergency vehicle approaches using flashing blue lights, headlights, and or sirens, keep off the road. So this would go for ambulance, fire engine, police, doctor, and I think that even organ transfer vehicles are part of the emergency vehicles. But please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about that. Highway Code Rule number 32. Buses. Get on or off a bus only when it has stopped to allow you to do so. Watch out for cyclists when you are getting off. Never cross the road directly behind or in front of a bus. Wait until the bus moved off, and then you can see clearly in both directions. Highway Code Rule 33. Tramways. This may run through pedestrian areas. Their path will be marked out by shallow curbs, changes in the paving or other road surface, white lines or yellow dots. Cross at designated crossings where provided. Elsewhere, treat trams as you would other road vehicles and look both ways along the track before crossing. Do not walk along the track as trams may come up behind you. Trams, they move quietly and they cannot steer to avoid you. Highway Code Rule 34. Railway level crossings. You must not cross or pass a stop line when the red lights show, including a red pedestrian figure. Also, do not cross if an alarm is sounding or the barriers are being lowered. The tone of the alarm may change if another train is approaching. If there are no lights, alarms, or barriers, stop, look both ways, and listen before you cross. A tactile surface comprising rounded bars running across the direction of pedestrian travel may be installed on the footpath approaching a level crossing to warn visually impaired people of its presence. The tactile surface should extend across the full width of the footway and should be located at an appropriate distance from the barrier or projected line of the barrier. And the law you can refer to is the Traffic Signs, Regulations and General Directions 2002 Regulation 52. And now we are getting to the last rule for today's video, which is Highway Code Rule number 35. Street and pavement repairs. A pavement may be closed temporarily because it's just not safe to use. Take extra care if you are directed to walk in or to cross the road, and you will usually have these road signs available, such as pedestrian, and the arrow is showing which way for pedestrians, and other signs that you need to have a look at and follow. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. For now, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!